So as you guys know, and if you didn't know, Pokemon Black and 2 was recently announced. So for today's question of the day, I'm going to be asking you guys, what are your thoughts, hopes, expectations, ideas, etc., for Pokemon Black and White 2? Now for me, I don't really have any high hopes for this game. I just kind of want it to be the same as Pokemon Black and White. I don't know, like what they do in most of the third release games, like Emerald, how they had move tutors and just an advanced battle tower system, I guess. I just hope the game is kind of like that, similar to Pokemon Black and White. So leave your answers in the comments below, and let's get started with the battle. What's up, guys? Rampage here again, bringing you another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Here we got a I'm not going to say it's a pretty good match, but it's not a bad match. Here we got a decent neutral match, I guess, against some guy who goes by the name of Raunchy that I found off of the Smogon Wi-Fi Battle Finder. Now, my opponent isn't a bad player. I just really doubt his team, I guess. The synergy isn't really there, and just the choices of Pokemon, such as Quillfish and Exeggutor. Later on in this game, you'll see that his Exeggutor has Sleep Powder. I don't know why you wouldn't use a Roserade for that. His Quillfish is just primarily there for the Toxic Spikes, something you could also use Roserade for. Like, I guess it's not Fire Water, it's Water and Grass, which, can contribute to a Fire Water Grass, even though he has no Fire type. And he also has two defensive Water types, being Slowbro and Quillfish, so that's just talking about his team a little bit. My team, I'm using that same UU team that I've been using for a while because I really do like this team. I do like Choice Band and Heracross. That thing hits like a truck. Scarf Chandelier is also pretty cool. Porygon Z, I've always liked using Porygon Z since 4th gen, so that's pretty much, the teams in the what's that word? And then I don't know. I don't know what I was about to say. So anyway, let's just get started with this battle before I say something stupid. Okay, so I'm going to lead off with my Registeel. My opponent's going to lead off with a Quillfish. Knowing that he wants to set up his Toxic Spikes, I'm going to switch out into my Xatu just so I could Magic Bounce his Toxic Spikes on his side of the field. And he's going to go for the Protect just to see what I would go for. Maybe fearing the Psychic or something. I'm actually just going to set up my Reflect because I don't want any damage to do a lot to me. Yeah, I don't even know what I was about to say there, but I think that came out alright. So anyway, after I set up my Reflect, he's going to bring out his Porygon 2, and I'm also going to set up my Light Screen. So now none of his attacks should be doing too much to me, and I'm going to go out into my Registeel, knowing that I can set up my Rocks on him. So he's going to bring out his Quillfish again, just to make the Toxic Spikes disappear, I guess, and also to try and set up his Toxic Spikes again. But I really don't want him to set up his Toxic Spikes. But I'm going to go for the Thunder Wave before I switch out, because I was hoping that he would predict the Xatu switch and not go for the Toxic Spikes and maybe just attack me or something so I could just hit him with a Thunder Wave. He's just going to go for the Protect, and then I'm going to go out in the Xatu to bounce back the Toxic Spikes that I knew that was coming. So I'm going to go for the Wish now, and hoping he's going to switch out this turn, I'm going to go out into my Porygon Z, which he does switch out. He goes out into his Porygon 2, which I'm not worried about too much. I've seen that it has the Trick Room, so this thing's not too big of a threat to me. So I'm going to hit this thing with a Tri-Attack now. And that's not going to take him out, unfortunately for me, and he will be able to recover. So I know that this Porygon 2 is definitely defensive, not an offensive Porygon 2. So my Light Screen wore off. That doesn't really come into play at all, though. I'm going to go out into my Heracross, knowing that this thing is defensive. Close Combat should be able to take this thing out still, even if it's max defense, max HP, Eviolite. It's a Choice Band to Close Combat. I'm pretty sure we'll take it out. He's just going to switch out, go out into his Quillfish just to get the Intimidate on me. I'm not worried about that though, because I just want to get some damage on this Quillfish, even if it's a resisted hit. And that Close Combat still did can't talk, I'm getting my words stuck. That Close Combat still did quite a nice chunk to the Quillfish, even though it was resisted. So I'm going to go back into my Porygon Z now, thinking that he's not going to go for the Toxic Spikes, predicting my Xatu to come in. So I'm just going to try to set up a nasty plot right here, predicting him to not go for the Toxic Spikes again, but he actually does go for the Toxic Spikes, which isn't too good for me because the majority of my team is weak to Toxic Spikes, being my Porygon Z, my Heracross, my Milotic, and Chandelier. Two of those guys kind of benefit from the Toxic, being Milotic and Heracross with Marble Scale and Guts, but I still didn't want the Toxic just to be set up on my field. So now he's going to bring out his Snorlax, and I'm going to go for the Tri-Attack, and that did a lot more damage than I thought it would do. And to make it all worse for him, I do get the burn at the end of the try attack, so the body slam won't be able to take me out. But he does revenge hacks me, I guess, getting a pair of hacks on me with the body slam. But I'm not going to get paralyzed, and I will be able to take out the Snorlax next turn, so that's that. He's going to bring out his Golurk now. I'm just going to go for the Dark Pulse as he sets up a sub, which is great because now he won't get a free sub, and I can just bring in something safely to take this Golurk out. So I'm going to bring in my Chandelier, and I'm just going to try and take this thing out with a Shadow Ball, kind of forgetting about his Porygon 2, which is a bad play on my part. I could have just went for a Fire Blast and did quite a nice chunk of damage to anything on his team, basically. But I didn't do that. I can't talk. I don't know what I was about to say. It wasn't in my head at that time, so that's not what I was really thinking. Anyway, I'm going to bring out my Heracross now. He's just going to set up another Trick Room. I'm not worried about that at all, and now that my Heracross is poisoned, I'm at +1 with Guts, and I'm also at +1 with Choice Band, so I'm basically at +2. And I'm just going to go for the Night Slash, predicting his Executor or his Golurk to come in. But he is going to bring in his Executor, and that Night Slash isn't going to be able to take him out, which is very unfortunate, even though I am at +2 basically. But it's all fine and dandy, I guess, because I'm just going to go out into my Registeel now. And I don't know why. I've never played Executor, so I guess this is why I really wasn't thinking it. But I wasn't predicting the Sleep Powder. I forgot that this thing even gets Sleep Powder. So that was a pretty bad play on my part, because now my Registeel is asleep for nothing when it doesn't have to be asleep. So I'm going to go out into my Zachi now, as he's going to go out into his Golurk. We both made the switch at the same time. And I just want to set up my Reflect, because I should be able to take this thing's hits with a Reflect up, and he is going to go for the Shadow Punch. I am able to take that with more than half HP left, so that's pretty good for me. And I'm just going to set up a Wish here, as he's going to go for the sub, and I'm not too worried about the sub, breaking the sub, because I do have my Lodic, which should be able to wall this thing completely. Now that my Marble skill is also going to be activated because of poison, and the Reflect is also up, so this Focus Punch should not do a lot at all. And he gets a crit, but it still doesn't do that much, and I am going to be able to get the Wish off, so I wasn't too mad about that crit right there. So it's my Lodic versus Golurk right now. I'd have to stab super effective Scald. That's definitely going to be able to break the sub. He's just going to go for the Focus Punch again, probably his strongest move to hit me with. And this Focus Punch is not going to do anything to my Lodic. That did like my lefty's recovery basically. That did nothing. So Marble Scale defensive, my Lodic can just take out this Golurk all day. So predicting him to switch out into his Porygon 2, I'm going to go out into my Chandelier just so I can try and hit that Porygon 2 with a Fire Blast and hopefully take it out. But that's not the case. He's going to go out into his Slowbro, and I think I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball, because I want to go for the Fire Blast, but I don't want to be too risky. I'd rather just force the Slowbro out, so that's why I went for Shadow Ball, even though I knew he did have the Porygon 2 left. So he's going to go for the Recover right here, as I'm going to bring in my Heracross. Poison is wearing them down, Poison is wearing them down, so it's good that I got the Poison on on his side of the field, because that Mega Horn is now going to be able to take out his Porygon 2, and this is where Heracross is pretty much just going to plow through the rest of his team. From here on, it's about to be a Why did I say Reggie? It's about to be a Heracross sweep, and I'm just going to go for the Mega Horn on the rest of his team. He brings in his Golurk after trying to fake me out or whatever with the Slowbro. I don't really see how that helped. I guess he was just trying to poison stall me maybe. Anyway, I'm just going to go for the Mega Horn on his Executor, and that thing is quad weak to it, so that's a dead Executor. And his last guy is Slowbro. Even if it was max defense, max HP, it's not living a +2 Mega Horn from a Heracross, so Heracross is a monster that destroys UU teams in general, no matter what you have on them. And I don't know what I was getting at there, but that was a good game. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and if you did, please push that like button. It really helps me out. Heracross is a monster. I do like this team. I'll continue to use it as long as with the other teams whenever I feel like using those as well. So yeah, my opponent Raunchy, I hope to battle you again sometime. You did say that this was your test team, which is understandable, but I don't want to criticize you or anything. So anyway, Rampage here, signing out. Peace out.